Good morning, Dr. Mabvakure.
Good morning, Dr. Shaw. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's actually 1 p.m. in Zimbabwe right now.
Oh, good afternoon.
Nice warm day. How are you doing in the US?
I'm doing very well. It's still early in the morning, and we're just preparing to start off the day.
It's great to have you back to re-record our conversation, which I hope those who asked for will really benefit, because I knew definitely I learned a lot from our last conversation.
Oh, thank you.
So you can give us your brief history about maybe your journey in your undergraduate study and internship, motivation to do postgraduate studies, the application process for postgraduate studies, and any other information you may want to share for foreign stays for students, how to handle staying in a foreign land when you are a student, and any other that you can give our prospective postgraduate students.
Okay. So I prepared some slides that I want to share. Yeah, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen now.
Yeah, so my journey started at Chino University of Technology, where I did my undergraduate studies. So I went to do my undergraduate at Chino University of Technology. I was studying the Bachelor of Science degree in biotechnology. It was a 4-year degree program. And yeah, it was a very exciting program. So on this slide, you can see there is a bus and there are many people inside, and there is a road, and that road is not straight, as you can see. It's just, I think it just summarizes that journey, that it's not a straight journey. There are some caves, there might be some hills, but the bus will be moving. And you can see that the bus there's not a single person inside. There are many people that are there. It just depicts many people who are also involved in your journey. It's not a one-person journey. There are many people who are also part of that journey who help you, people that you help as well. At the bottom, I've written a list of some of the people. It's not exhaustive. There are some people that I might have missed out. I know definitely the people that I missed out. When I was thinking about this list this morning, I remembered a lot of other people that were really crucial to the journey. And I'm still on the journey, still moving on. But there are so many people that help us in some way. So at Chino University of Technology, as I mentioned, it was a 4-year degree program in biotechnology. In the 3rd year of the biotechnology program, you're supposed to go for an internship. I think the internship is important. Before I talk about the application process and how I got my master's degree and all. At Chino University of Technology, in the 2nd year, that's when I started applying for a place to do my internship. I applied in Zimbabwe and got some places to do the internship. And I was happy because they were very good places that I got. But I wanted to go and have that experience outside the country. I felt that South Africa was way ahead in terms of technology, in terms of the biotechnology, in terms of the biotechnology industry as a whole. So having an opportunity to do the internship in South Africa would be very beneficial to my career. So I started doing the applications online, but it wasn't helping. There is a person that I wrote here, called Professor Mabvakure. He's a friend that I met just before I went to do my undergraduate program. He stayed in the same area in Tungisa. And one day when I was working with my friend, a high school friend, just said, "Oh, that guy is a professor at the University of Zimbabwe. He was well respected in the community." So people would just say, "Oh, he's a professor, he's a professor." But I was so curious to speak with him. So one day I approached him and spoke with him, asked him a couple of questions, and we became very good friends. And I would go and see him regularly to just ask about options in terms of what to do at university, life at university. And yeah, like the whole career path. And those discussions were very helpful. He became sort of a mentor at that time. Like before I started even going to university, he had like a serious talk to say, do this, don't do this, be focused, don't spend money like it's coming out from water tech, be responsible, get good grades, aim to get book prizes and all of that. And then when I started doing my studies at University of Technology, I took those words and I didn't want to waste any money. I knew even from the background that I was coming from. My parents are always civil servants, so they were not getting that much. So I had to be very resourceful and use the finances that I had very responsibly. And I also studied very hard, and I got a number of book prizes. So I think I got all the book prizes before I went for my internship. And when I applied for internship, that was key as well to getting like places like they would look at the price and say, oh, I think this person really means business, they really want to work. So going back to saying that I found places in Zimbabwe, but I wanted to do my internship in South Africa. My brother who was in South Africa asked me to come and do the applications there. So I traveled to South Africa, and then I started doing the applications for internship there. The approach that I did, I would apply online, and I would also have a list of the companies, and then move door by door, applying at the companies. Some of the experiences were not unpleasant. For example, there was a time when I went to this other company, and I rang the intercom, and the person inside answered, and I told them, no, my name is Batsirai, I'm from Zimbabwe. And before I could finish my sentence, that person had interjected and said, we don't have any donations. And then he hung up. And then I called again and said, no, I'm not, I didn't come here for donations. I'm a student at university and I'm looking for an internship. And then they just said, no, we don't have any internship. So, so when you're applying for internship, these are some of the challenges that you may face. People can just judge you negatively, and people can just cut you off before you even present your case. But that mustn't stop deter you from continuing to apply. You have to continue going on. So another approach that I did was, my brother was a truck driver in South Africa. So I would go with him on the truck, and when he goes to deliver to companies that he thought were biotechnology companies, I would be having my CVs in the truck. And I was helping him out with his trucking business. Then I would go inside to the windows and then drop my CV. Yeah, but I didn't get responses from that as well. And when I was about to come back to Zimbabwe, the holiday was about to finish. I thought to visit a friend of mine who was studying at the University of Witwatersrand. And when I went there to the University of Witwatersrand, I saw that there was a career guidance day. Many companies had come to the university to tell students what they do, what they offer. And I thought this was a very noble thing. And I wish more companies would also come into our local universities in Zimbabwe to talk about what they do and present the opportunities that they have to students, and also do the recruiting there. So I got some contact details, and I met people from the CSR. I spoke with them and did some applications, but I realized that I wasn't going to get the internship if I go via the normal application route. The reason was because opportunities like those ones at the CCR for internship were reserved for South African citizens, and I was not a South African citizen or a permanent resident at that time. So one way that I thought I could maybe get internship, I thought if I go and speak with particular people who are in those labs, I think I can have a shot. So I looked up at the website for the CSR, and I saw that the conference that was coming up, but the conference was going to happen when I was when I was just starting the final semester of my second year. But anyway, with the pocket money that I received from my parents for that month, when I went back to Chile University of Technology for that final semester, I won a book prize, and they gave us $50 for the book prizes that you won. And then my brother in South Africa also promised to give me some more cash. So I didn't use that money to travel to South Africa for a week since classes had started. I went there and I attended the conference. And after every presentation. So most people from the sales I represented, I had a list of who's presenting what they do. So I would run there and then I would talk to them and tell them my story. They're looking for internship. I think the first day I didn't get anything. Second day I didn't get anything. On the final day of the conference, and I was so tired. There's this lady called Dr. Mabvakure. He was presenting some chemistry stuff on HIV. After a presentation, I just approached her and told her that a presentation was interesting and I was interested in doing an internship in South Africa. So she invited me to her laboratories. And then after hearing my background, she thought Dr. Dimbrati, who was in the lab just opposite, he was more suitable for the kind of work that I wanted to do. So she introduced me to that lab. And in that lab, I met a person called Dr. Walter Sanika. He's late now. He was doing his postdoc at that time. And there was also Dr. Rasamuse. So Dr. Rasamuse and Walter Sanika had attended the same university at the University of Western Cape. And they were now both working for Professor Dimbrati. So they told me about the lab, and I realized they were doing some very exciting stuff. So I applied for internship, and then the option that we saw was that it was better to volunteer, like to go unpaid for a year. Just to get the experience. So remember I mentioned that I had found internship opportunities in Zimbabwe where I was going to be paid, I think it was 120 to 150 US at that time. I declined those offers of the paid internship opportunities because of the kind of experience that I saw that I was going to gain at the CSIR. I left that money and I decided just to go unpaid for the entire year. But you know, before you go to internship at the university, people will be talking about, oh, we need to get internship that really pays very well so that when you come back in the year, some very nice things, some nice laptops and all that, nice phones and all. But I valued the experience more than maybe the money that I'll just get for a year. And then the experience that I get might not be sufficient to push me further up. So I went for the unpaid. And I learned a lot of things, and even the projects that I was involved in. It exposed me to a number of things that actually when I finished my dissertation at the organization, it was recommended as a master's project because I had done so many things. I'd also published a paper on the work that we were doing. So during the internship experience, I learned some bit about bioinformatics. I learned a lot about the lab work, and I got an opportunity to travel to conferences. I went to the University of Oxford at the Blavatnik School of Government, and I presented some of the work that we were doing there, and I received an innovation award. And then when after completing the internship and when I traveled back to Zimbabwe, I got another traveling opportunity to present on the same that we did the CSI, but this time it was in Australia at the International Association of Energy Economists. So that was pretty exciting. So after the internship and when I went back for my final year, I started applying now for master's opportunities. I realized that I had a year. I didn't want to spend a gap year after finishing my studies. So I immediately started applying in my final year to University of Technology. As I mentioned, the internship gave me an experience. I now knew what I really wanted to do to some extent. The sales area was a research and development, and it was focused more on developing products that should go to industry. So I wanted to go the industry path, to go to manufacturing and processing. So I applied for opportunities that were oriented in that path. I applied in Australia. I think that was my first option. I got places, but I didn't get the funding. So that door closed. And then I turned to the United Kingdom. I applied at a number of universities. I got the program that I wanted, but I didn't get the funding as well. But I must mention that when I was focused on Australia, that was the war of 2012. So 2012 went and finished. At the end of the year, I hadn't found a place. Then I applied. I'd been offered another master's opportunity in Zimbabwe, and the master's opportunity I think was going to pay about 1,400 a month as a stipend, so it was a lot of money. But I didn't like the opportunity. After researching more about the opportunity, I felt like it wasn't really for me. But when I told about my parents about the opportunity, and I told them about the salary that I was going to be getting, so they thought it was an exciting opportunity. So I declined that opportunity, and it didn't go down well with them. They were not happy at all that I declined that amount, a huge amount of money. Back at the United Kingdom, I'd applied, and then I got the place, and I applied for funding. It went. I passed through the interview process, and I went into the final selection. I really thought I was going to get the position, but I got a letter when I was preparing to leave, preparing to go to the economy. They said no, I didn't get the offer. I was so disappointed. I think at this time I almost lost all hope of going abroad to do my postgraduate. So I started looking for jobs in Zimbabwe. Like seriously, I wasn't really serious about looking for a job. So I looked in Harare. I remember at the time I would print about 50 applications a day. I didn't get anything. I went to Blawayo. I would submit 50 applications per day to look for work, but I didn't get anything. And then there's a Facebook page that we had created. And then on that Facebook page, there's a guy called Dr Mabvakure. He's now lecturing at University of Technology. At that time, he was a postdoctoral fellow at the University of Cape Town. So he posted about a master's opportunity at the University of Western Cape, supervised by another supervisor at the University of Cape Town. So I applied for that position. And then after some time, someone said, I got a response that they were interested in the position. I've been shortlisted. And then around the same time, I told Dr. Walter Sanika and Dr. Jean Brady that all the opportunities that I applied for abroad didn't work very well. And I was stuck now, didn't know what to do. So that was 2018. So they reached out to their contacts, and Walter Sanika recommended me to another person at the University of Pretoria to go to interview with him. I went to the University of Pretoria. I interviewed with the person, and then they said they were interested in offering me a master's program. After the interview, I also went to see Dr. Dimbrati, who was now at the University of Pretoria restaurant. And he also offered me another master's position there. So I now had three opportunities. But among these three opportunities, I thought that the opportunity that I wanted now was to go via the bioinformatics route. I don't know if it was the disappointment that the industry oriented didn't work the way that I wanted, but my second option was to go into the healthcare sector. I took that opportunity, and when I took that opportunity, the supervisor also helped me to apply for funding. So we applied for funding at the National NRF National Research Foundation. It is under the Department of Science and Technology. So they have some grants that they have to help people with their studies. So I applied for those grants. And after applying for those grants, I got a scholarship. And after getting a scholarship, the next step now was to have my qualifications from Zimbabwe evaluated. So in South Africa, they've got this South African Qualifications Authority, I think, which is responsible for evaluating to see if the qualifications that you have from your country, how do they maybe compare with the qualifications that they have in South Africa. So if you have an undergraduate degree, they evaluate it and see if it's a really undergraduate degree, and whatever they say about the program. For example, some universities will say, I think you have to do another honors, or you can proceed to masters without redoing anything. So I evaluated my qualifications. After that, I had to apply for medical insurance. So all of these things, they cost a lot of money. And saving up, as well as like family, they played an important role in acquiring some of the resources that I needed. So we prepared for everything, and then I applied for my visa in Zimbabwe. It didn't take long at that time. I think the visa process was about 2 weeks ago. The student visa didn't take long to come out. And then I looked for accommodations in Africa, and then I traveled to start my master's degree. So that was the journey to going for the master's degree. And there's something that I didn't mention is that there were so many challenges along the way. I mentioned some couple of challenges like the finances and getting like maybe rejected for some places that you wanted and being accepted and then not finding the funding. I also had personal challenges. Like in my family in 2013, I lost my father in that year. And I lost my sister so that year, and I was in the middle of preparing to go for undergraduate, to go for postgraduate study. And those losses were I think they were discouraging, or maybe they would make you lose focus. But I kept going on, knowing that okay, my father is passed on now, but it's up to us to really stand up and try to be responsible and try to like help out even with the other family. So sometimes when you face challenges along the way, they mustn't make you give up. They mustn't make you stop pursuing what you are doing. You have to continue going on regardless of the challenges. And you need friends. You need people who are maybe more experienced than. There are two kinds of relationships. There are relationships that are horizontal. Like horizontal relationships, these are people who are at the same level with you. People who are at the same level with you are like people who are your classmates, people whom you've grown up with. But vertical relationships, these are people like who are maybe above you, are more experienced in their fields, who know more things than you do, and this can play a role of a mentor in your life. Like it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have only one mentor. You can have so many mentors. Like there are so many things that you can learn from a number of people, and you can also evaluate the knowledge that you are getting from everyone. Like you just don't take everything that is said to you. When you receive information, you sit down and then you start to evaluate and to see, okay, does this apply to me? And is this what I really want? And then you make your own decisions. So yeah. And then on the vertical relationships, there are also people that are below you, like people who are still in high school, maybe people who are who are still growing in that field. Those people need your help as well. So you have to reach out to those people, guide them, give them advice, and help them out achieve their goals. There are many instances about some of the relationships, some of the people that have been mentioned, where someone helped me maybe at this particular stage, and then at some particular stage, those same people, they wanted to go somewhere, and they would have me as their contact. They say, oh, that's it. I need this, and then I would help them out with those things. So when you help others, so those people become part of your family too. They become part of your family. But I'm not saying you are helping because you want something in return. You help because you it's a moral duty to help. But when you help someone, it leaves a mark in their hearts. And I think God is a way to bless you at some point because of the good things that you'll be doing. So the second part of the journey to postgraduate studies was going from master's to PhD. So going to from the master's to the PhD, I think it was dependent on completing my MSc program. If I hadn't completed my MSc program, I would not have found a PhD position. So to finish your MSc program, especially in a foreign country, you have to have focus. You maybe, if you haven't traveled a lot, you see so many things that are different in that country from your country. And those things can easily get you excited and forget about why you went into that country in the first place. So you have to have focus, and you have to have like friends who are also in the same field that you have. So for me, the master's program was at first was difficult because I was transitioning from an uncoding coding program to a program where I was required to write code, to work in a Unix environment. So I was coming from, I can say, a lab-based program to like in silico, where you do all the analysis on the computer, like computational analysis. So I had to learn a lot of things, and I think friendships really helped me. The way people who had already started the program, those people were key in explaining some of the difficult things that I encountered. And at the end, I passed my master's program with a distinction. And I also graduated 6 months ahead of time. When you're doing your master's program, it's important to maintain a visa status. When you're issued a visa, it is a time limit. It can last for a year. So before the visa expires, you have to check maybe about 60 or 50 days before it expires. You have to start applying for a visa and renew your visa before it expires. If it expires after you finish your studies, when you go out, when you want to come back in, they might not allow you to come back in. And you also have a bad record. When you're applying for other visas, they also ask you if you've ever been denied entry into a country, if you've ever been rejected a visa, if you've ever overstayed in a country, and you don't want to raise red flags when you're doing those applications further on. So you want to make sure that your visa is valid at all times. So when I was nearing completion of my master's studies, I started applying for PhD programs. I wanted to go abroad again, so I applied to Australia, and I also applied to the United Kingdom. I got the place in Australia, but I didn't get the funding again. So yeah, it was disappointing. And then in the United Kingdom, I didn't get the place at all. So I mentioned some of the failures that I had to see that it's not a straight journey, as I was mentioning. You have disappointments. There will be times where you think you're not happy with yourself. But you have to continue going on and continue applying. Eventually, you get something that you really, really love. So I was scrolling down the internet looking for opportunities, and then I saw on Indeed, it is a job a site for applying jobs. I saw the advertisement for a PhD and a job position at the National Institute for Communicable Diseases in Johannesburg. So I applied for the job and I applied for the PhD program. Both were applications were going to the same person. So they called me for an interview, and they said, what do you want to do? Do you want the job or do you want the PhD program? And then I said, I wanted the job. And then they said, we think you are more suited to do the PhD program. So we want you to do the PhD program. And you get the job experience. You won't be paid as much, but after a couple of years, you have a PhD, and I think that's more suited for you. So I went there and then I did my PhD program. So when I was doing the PhD program, there are some relationships that I had for my master's program. Like my supervisors, I still had friendships with them. So we collaborated on a number of projects when I was doing my PhD. And I quickly finished my PhD in record time. There's a person called Peter Van Hoesten, who was also a systems administrator at the place where I did my master's degree, the South African National Bioinformatics Institute. And he was also very helpful in some of the projects that we did at the National Institute for Communicable Diseases. Like I was involved in a lot of projects, some way like infrastructural development in terms of computing capacity to deal with huge amounts of data. So those collaborations were helpful in strengthening the computational capacity to deal with large amounts of data and establishing like a high-performance computing system there. So after completing the PhD program, I was ready for my postdoc. I think I'll stop here for some percent. Okay, so I'll just continue to the next slide. Tips to make the journey enjoyable. So we have to the first tip that I'll give to students who want to go for the postgraduate study. Understand yourself, like understand what you really like. So you can see with this tree that I drew here. You can go via the academic route or non-academic route. So when you're doing your assignments during undergraduate studies, you can actually see whether you are a research person, like you enjoy going to the library, researching a lot of things and writing papers, or you like just to do the work. So knowing what you really like, it helps you decide like, okay, do I want to do a total master's program where I'll just learn some concepts to go into industry work, or I want to do an academic oriented master's program that will be focused more on getting publications, doing research, and preparing for PhD. And there are also some PhD programs that are designed for people who really want to work in industry. And then the other thing that you must work on is you must work on your character, like having desirable traits. Because when people are looking for someone to recommend, it's based on your character. So you must have a character. You must be able to work well with other Christian principles that guide me in the way that I conduct myself with other people. So you must have a good character so that people are willing to work with you, they're willing to recommend you. And when you also get the opportunities, you do what you're supposed to do. You must use time and money wisely. We don't have the luxury of time. So when, for example, I mentioned that in 2012 I was applying for opportunities in another country. Like the whole year, I spent making applications and it didn't work out. So the sooner you start, the better. So don't procrastinate. My mother always told me that procrastination is the thief of time. So never procrastinate. Start early and get on it. And money, use money wisely. When I was doing my applications, I didn't have a lot of money. So the way times I had to work in 2013, I had to work as a relief teacher. I was in Kadoma. So the money that I got as a relief teacher in Kadoma, that is the money that I paid for my first month's rent. When I went for my master's program at the time. That is the money that I used to purchase my bus ticket to go to Chile. And that was the money that I used for the SAS. So you must use money wisely. The bit of money that you have, use it wisely. I think you get what I'm saying. So I've got some tips that can help you maybe understand yourself better in terms of choosing the program that you want. You can make a list of maybe opportunities that you think that you like, and then you can visit the different work environments. So I did this before I started doing my undergraduate degree. I thought I wanted to be a medical doctor. I thought I wanted to be a medical laboratory scientist. I thought I wanted to work in industry. I thought I wanted to work in business. So I went to these 4 different workplaces and decided and I realized what I wanted and what I didn't want. So you can go to those places and ask people to explain them what they are doing or observe them what they are doing. And during vacations, I also volunteered. The lecturers that we have at universities, they've got labs that they also run or that they're working at universities. So you can ask them to volunteer during vacations. So this again was unpaid. I went to the University of Zimbabwe in Dr. Chitindiku's lab. I went there during vacations, and every time when I had some free time, I would go there and work. Working in that lab, I think it was as we were doing their masters. I also met a lot of people who I spoke to and learned a lot from. So during vacations, if you don't have something that you are doing, I think it's something that you can consider doing, like volunteering. Say, Dr. Zhu, I want to come to your lab and volunteer. Do you have some colleagues that we called ourselves donkeys? Like, do you know someone who needs a donkey? We can just come and do like any other work that you want. Maybe it may be literature review, and just go there and start reviewing articles. We can go there and start doing some experiments in the lab. And also make notes about the things that you enjoy. List the options that you think you like, and then make a plan on how to achieve each of the options on the list. And then you can pursue all of them at once. Because, like you probably learned from my presentation, some of the options that you think are going to work out will not work out. So you can push all of the opportunities of the options that you want, and then you see what comes out at the end of the day. And then the second thing that I would advise people to do is to have a good online profile. So people will Google you, they'll search you in Google and try to know what kind of person you are. It's because we're applying for some of the opportunities abroad, and the only person they can ask about your character and your conduct is Google. And Google, it will search for your name in every database that is available, whether it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's on LinkedIn, maybe some websites that you just went and you put your name there. It will search all those sites and get all that information. So people will be able to see your pictures and all the comments that you would have made on some particular topics and things like that. So you have to be really careful about the digital footprint that you're leaving behind. So make sure that you behave well online. If you are thinking of maybe going abroad, so it's getting more opportunities. Because sometimes some things that you post online, they can make you miss some opportunities. I think these days it's now very clear. Like some people can make a random comment on Twitter and they can get fired at work for the comments that they make. So make sure like now, don't post things that will threaten you in the future. And the third thing that I would advise is to build networks, make good friends. I didn't just say make friends. There are some friends that give you like a negative energy. There are friends that can pull you back, that can misguide you. So make sure that you associate yourself with people that have a good impact on you. And it also starts with you. Like when you start taking care of yourself, when you start having direction and having defined goals, like having good goals, good people also want to associate with you. So like attracts like. So yeah, build networks. There are also some online platforms where you can build networks. Online platforms like the LinkedIn. You can find people that are in the field. On Twitter, you can follow people who have got the same interests with you, and you can learn from the posts that they make about things in the field, about places where to find opportunities. Some people, they find opportunities on Twitter. Someone may just post. They're looking for people in their life, and you respond to that tweet, and you get a job. On Facebook, that's where I got my my opportunity for the PhD, for the master's opportunity. I mean. And some places to go network is attending conferences. I got a place for my postdoctoral fellowship when I went to attend a conference. So networking is very important, not only for getting the opportunities, but even for keeping the opportunities and making so much progress in a particular work. Sometimes you have to reach out to people who are in your network to learn some other things that you don't know that is required in a particular place that you have. So I think that is all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time to explain to us your journey and for sharing with us the wisdom that people may need to sometimes have that is not always taught in a classroom, that can only be learned from someone who has gone through the journey. So I really appreciate your sacrifice of time.
Well, thank you so much.
To share your journey with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me today.
Yes. I did promise we may call you again. I'm sure there is a lot that we just touched on the surface. So one day we may have a conference. I'm thinking a conference online for our young people. I do meet a lot of people, talk to a lot of young people. They know they want a master's. They know they want a PhD, but they don't know what master's or what PhD and which route. So that has really just been motivation for all of this. And I really appreciate that you seem to have the same idea that we can pull each other up, we can help each other, and be rewarded in some way which is not always obvious. So,
yeah.
Thank you. I'll be in touch again soon, Dr. Mabvakure. It was nice to talk to you.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day. Bye.